Hello and welcome to this week's Myth Bust Monday. So this week we are talking about the myth that lifting weights makes you bulky. Now I do wish to preface this with the fact that I had originally intended this video to be aimed predominantly at females, as they are the ones that tend to worry about this the most. However, this advice and this video will include a lot of information that is applicable to everyone. So there we go. It's also important to note that when I say lifting weights, I also mean any form of resistance training. This can be banded work, body weight training, or kettlebell work, or anything else that provides some sort of additional resistance, as they're all essentially the same thing. They are all forms of adding resistance to a movement. There's nothing special or magical about weights specifically. All you're doing is taking a body movement and then increasing the resistance by holding a weight in some form. So, with that out of the way, let's get on to the myth. And yes, it is indeed a myth that just touching weights will make you bulky. This is because muscle growth specifically only occurs when certain conditions have been met. Those conditions include: Number 1, adequate stimulus. You have to stress the body enough and provide enough volume for it to want to grow back bigger and stronger. Number 2, adequate recovery. Now this includes both the nutrition side of things and also the sleep side of things. And number 3, the most depressing of all, a lot of fucking time. So let's take a look at adequate stimulus. In a simplistic way, muscle growth occurs because you create microtraumas to the muscle fibers. These microtraumas then repair, heal, and more importantly, grow back bigger and stronger. In order to create these microtraumas, you have to be training hard enough, consistently enough, and provide enough volume for them. You also have to aim for what is called progressive overload, which is essentially where you do more work as time progresses. You want to stress the body to greater and greater degrees so that it is forced to grow back stronger. And you can do this through various means, by either increasing the weight, increasing the amount of repetitions that you do, or increasing the amount of sets that you do to create a greater total volume of work. You cannot just haphazardly throw around weights and expect to grow muscle. It just doesn't work like that, unfortunately. It requires focused work and effort. So now let's take a look at adequate recovery. You see, not only does it require you to be more mindful of what you eat in order to get enough protein for recovery, but you also need to be eating enough. You have to have enough calories for muscle growth to take place. If you don't, then you won't grow. In fact, this is one of the key ways that you can get stronger without specifically getting bigger. Instead of just manipulating your training, you can also manipulate your nutrition. Don't want to get bigger? Cool, just don't eat so much. So let's say you're doing all of that. You go to the gym, you lift weights, you train hard enough, you've got a solid routine down, you get a good amount of sleep every night, you're eating enough, and you're hitting your protein targets every day. Well, muscle building for the natural athlete takes a lot of time. Granted, when you first start out, you'll experience what they call newbie gains, which is where lifting is such a unique stimulus to your body that it will adapt and change very quickly, or at least a lot quicker than someone who has a few years of training under their belt. However, this does not occur just by lifting weights alone. You still have to have the other points in check for this to happen. So again, your nutrition and rest. So with all that in mind, why should we lift weights? Especially if we're not looking specifically to get bigger. Now, there are numerous benefits aside from the aesthetic, but let's start there. Number 1, the preservation and growth of muscle mass. Now, many people want to lose weight because they feel like it will give them that toned, and yes, I really despise that word, look, or that athletic look. And they think that by losing weight, they will achieve this. However, if you just lose weight without trying to preserve muscle mass, what will happen is your body will take some of the energy when you're in the deficit from your muscles. What this means is that you'll end up looking basically like you do now, but just smaller. In order to achieve a different shape. You have to be preserving or gaining musculature underneath that. We're not talking about bodybuilder levels of muscle, but just a bit. Number 2, the health benefits. I feel like the health benefits often get missed out in the conversation when it comes to lifting weights, mainly because a lot of people just don't realize that there are any, but there are. So I'm just going to list a few of the main ones here, bearing in mind that these have been proven. Well, like all forms of exercise, it can help stave off certain diseases, such as cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, some forms of cancer, which simply aren't as likely with regular exercise. It helps regulate insulin, helps lower inflammation. It helps increase bone density to stave off things like osteoporosis, especially in older age. It helps increase your mood, increases quality of sleep. It helps with balance and reduce the risk of falls. And it also helps prevent injury. It can also help increase your resting metabolic rate, which is essentially how many calories your body burns even just at rest or doing day-to-day tasks. Now, don't get me wrong, the amount that it can increase this has been definitely overplayed by some people, so I wouldn't count on it as a main benefit of increasing muscle mass. However, resistance training does mean that more of the food that you eat will go towards not only fueling your workouts, but also towards repair and recovery. And finally, number 3, my personal favourite, it makes you stronger. Now, without sounding biased, being stronger is beneficial for so many areas of your life. Being stronger enables you to exert more force more efficiently. This means that you can exert more force when walking, running, cycling, throwing, opening jar lids. It also makes day-to-day tasks like walking up the stairs and carrying snacks easier. It also teaches you how to brace properly, which means a stronger core, which can help protect your lower back and spine against injury. Think of it not just as getting stronger, but kind of like building armor for your body. And finally, being stronger is just freaking fun. Seeing your body improve on a weekly, monthly, and yearly basis is so rewarding. Being able to lift a weight that you never used to be able to lift, or move your body in a way that you could never do, like doing a pull-up or doing more pull-ups, tends to have a motivational snowball effect that gets people hooked. So there we have it. I hope this has clarified a few of the benefits of resistance training and has taken away some of the worry that you might get so hench accidentally that you're unable to walk through doorways. As always, I'd love to hear from you. If you've got any questions or any comments, feel free to leave them below. Until next time, and until the next Myth Bust Monday, take care.